Hey Cardfighters, I'm happy to present that starting today we're going to have the new type of deck spotlights on the channel. However, this isn't where things are going to end, as we're working around the clock to improve the animation and visual aspects of these type of videos, so expect some major overhauls in the near future. But in the meantime, enjoy the video.
Stand up! Vanguard!
To become a member of the Elite Force Eradicators, one needs to have shown loyalty to the Dragon Empire and showcase a great feat of strength. Gauntlet Buster Dragon was unique among all Eradicators because unlike any who came before him, he got accepted solely on his feats of brute strength. This dragon reformed his own body with the power of lightning, changing his skills to hardened thunderbolt, and with gigantic gauntlets as his preferred weapon of choice, he was given the title of Wrecker. Gauntlet Buster Dragon, the Wrecker of Narukami, returns once again to the battlefield, and he is true to his name, as with his overwhelming power, he will eradicate all opposition. Gauntlet Buster's first ability gives him a passive power boost for each open front row rearguard circle. This is great against other Axel decks that overextend themselves. His second ability, for the cost of a counterblast and a discard, allows him to bind the entire front row, and if you want, move the back row to the front row. This ability is an insane field wipe option that also flows right into his first ability that gains passive power. The fact that he also can move the back row can help you clear the field with other skills, or you can use this ability again, as it's not a once per turn. Gauntlet Buster can clear fields and swing in for 22k with free crits against all clans, but against Axel you can go for even more power. This dragon is a one-man army but doesn't go into battle alone, as he leads a very powerful platoon that can make this dragon even more ferocious. Gauntlet Buster's right hand man in combat is Supreme Armor Eradicator Zuiten. This card allows you to benefit even more from Gauntlet Buster's field wipe. Zuiten can give himself and every other Gauntlet Buster an additional 5k power for every bounded unit that turn, meaning your gauntlets can swing in for 42k if not higher, because multiple Zuitens can stack the power. Also, his second ability helps him against other field control clans and increase the consistency as you can cycle through your deck. An excellent support grade 3 is the Tonics Drill Dragon. Both are main Vanguard units, but they both cover each other's weaknesses. Gauntlet Buster can punish a full field, so if they don't call that much to counterplay against him, you can rely on Drill to get a potential or partial free restand out of your first grade 3 turn. This makes it really hard for your opponent to counterplay against your deck. Most Axel decks have a form of rearguard multi-attacking, and Narukami has now finally access to a more stable variant of this mechanic, thanks to Fiendish Sword Eradicator Choho. This unit not only can bind rearguards and move back row units, he has also a built-in restand option. The downside is that it only activates after the Vanguard attacks, so you can't stack triggers for both attacks. However, with Drill you can, as you have 2 Vanguard attacks, meaning you can stack triggers from the first 2 drive checks onto him before he attacks the first time. This makes it possible to have more rearguard crit pressure. We can strike for high power columns and multi-attack with rearguards, but with Desert Gunner Gaiden we can make it even more deadly. We can turn our Choho on an Axel Circle 1 into 2 22k attacks, with PG guard restrict making it a lot tougher to guard. But we can also give our Zuiten or rearguard the Gauntlet Busters the PG guard restrict while they swing with pretty high numbers. We can also combine it with Tectonic's Drill Dragon, as you can give 2 units the additional power and guard restrict, but you can also give Tectonic's second attack the guard restrict, turning this card into a very versatile asset. So far we have seen cards that can move opponent units from the back row to the front row, however we only could move them in the same column, meaning that units behind the Vanguard are safe. But that's where this dragon comes into play. Bolt Capture allows us to force our opponents to put one of his back row units into the front row, and if they have only a Vanguard booster, then that unit is vulnerable for binding. So far we don't have a lot of plussing. In fact, we have some skills that cost us cards, but Narukami has a secret weapon that can fix a lot of these problems, and that is Rising Phoenix. This card can turn minuses into pluses. Thanks to its recall skill, we can utilize it in all kinds of scenarios. It can be used as a discard cost for the skills of our Vanguards and immediately called to the field. We can also use it as a guardian, but more importantly, we can generate multi-attacks with it as we bind units mid-battle with Tectonic's Drill. This combo in itself is pretty strong, but it doesn't work with Gauntlet Buster. Was it not for turning Bash Dragon? This card gives us on-demand mid-battle binding for a pretty cheap cost. However, there is a downside to this skill. If we want to multi-attack with Rising Phoenix, then that means we don't attack first with Turning Bash, so our opponent can just intercept their front row away. However, we have a solution to this problem. Bolt Capture Dragon and even Gauntlet Buster Dragon can move the grade 1s from the back row to the front row, meaning you can bind something whenever you want and your opponent can't do anything about it. Resources for Gauntlet Buster shouldn't be a big issue as you have one counterblast to remove a bunch of units, unlike the previous build where you need to spend 1 for 1. However, if you want, you can spread your resources as you have more than enough soul options as well as Helena for some counter charging. The triggers for Gauntlet Buster can be in any form you like. You can go for crits, as you can pressure with crits across the board, but Franz works as well, as you already pressure with a multi-crit Vanguard, so swinging with high numbers can finish the deal. The type of Exo marker you want to use depends on your rearguard lineup and your opponent's gift type. You might get more value out of an Exo 1 with units like Deathside and Choho, especially against Force, but Exo 2 can give you more consistency across the board, and with units like Gauntlet Buster and Zuiten, you don't care for the power loss, so keep these things in mind when selecting a marker type. If we take a look at the new cards for Narukami, we can build a quite solid list straight out the box. This list has the solid Gauntlet Buster support line with Choho, Gaiden and Zuiten, but we can see some new faces in the list as well, like Thunderbreak Dragon. This build focuses on using your grade 3s to lay waste to your opponent's front row. You either bind them directly or forcefully attack into them. You can make use of Thunderbreak's rearguard ability to pull the entire back row to the front row without wasting a discard or using Bolt Capture Dragon. Turning Bash is here to bind single units or to preserve resources or allow you to do a full field wipe. Further than that, this is a pretty standard approach to a Gauntlet Buster build, but let's take a look at how a list can look like if we smash the old support together with the new support. This build is all about covering each and every weaknesses the deck might have. We have the Gauntlet Buster support cards that can swing in for high damage and wreck boards if our opponent overcommitted, but for the situation where our opponent left a partial empty field, we can swing in with the Tonic's Drill Dragon and his support cards to get a free restand. This is now even more consistent thanks to Bolt Capture Dragon, as you can move any back row unit to the front row. With the inclusion of the tonics, we can use the multi-attack patterns with Choho, Rising Phoenix and Desert Gunner Gaiden. This is also the main reason why we run 8 crits without front triggers. Demolition Dragon is in this list not only to help us with going second, but he can turn our 12 to 20k grade 3s and grade 2s into 23 to 33k columns, which helps us quite a bit against force decks. And with Gauntlet Buster Dragon, fulfilling the requirement for his power gain is near to no obstacle. This is the most likely list you will encounter or a variation to it. But let's supercharge things a bit and go crazy, as we can build the following list with the new support. This list drops everything that supported or synergizes with the Tonic's Drill, because this list focuses on putting out the biggest threats possible with the help of Gauntlet Buster Dragon. So for the support grade 3, we have Great Composure Dragon, as this beast will always hit 22k or higher thanks to Gauntlet Buster's field wipe. Then the rest of this list is quite straightforward, but interesting enough, we have some unique cards in this list with Turning Bash Dragon and Helena. But most importantly, we have Lightning Spear Ramsey in the list. These cards allows you to multi-attack with any big insane number that isn't Cho'o. Thanks to Ramsey, we can potentially swing in with a 32k Composure or a 48k Gauntlet rearguard twice. And that second attack can come in with a PG Guard Restrict and a potential extra crit. Ramsey does cost 2 counterblasts, but this is where Helena and Turning Bash come into play. They allow you to refund a counterblast for the cost of 2 soul, because you have Ramsey and Zuiten that goes towards the soul. That shouldn't be a big problem. The main thing you need to watch out for is the fact that you can't generate more than 1 counterblast, as you need to have 0 face up to do so. Gauntlet Buster Dragon is a dragon of pure offense, and being on offensive is where this card shines the best. However, blindly attacking might not always be the best solution. If an opponent gave you enough damage and they rely on counterblast to do their plays, you might want to take a layback approach. Just swing in with your high-powered extra crit Vanguard and force them to guard your Vanguard attack or potentially die on that attack. If they guard your attack, just end your turn and keep doing this until they run out of cards, because without counterblast, they can't do much. This tactic works the best against other Excel decks, as you swing in with more power and more crits. With the thunderstorm raging above the battlefield, Gauntlet Buster Dragon prepares for a new brawl. on the plains of Cray. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this new type of spotlight. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of the new format and how we present the information and visuals, as we can still improve things as we go while we're working on the new animations and visuals for this type of series. So let me know your thoughts and comments and opinions in the comment section down below. If you're hungry for more and you want to see more deck spotlights for the other VRs for Aerial Steed Liberation, then check out our channel or the upcoming days while we're introducing the other VRs and the other deck spotlights that you can make with the new cards of Aerial Steed Liberation. In the meantime, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. You guys make this all possible, so thank you for your direct support. If you do want to support the channel, then you can do that simply by subscribing and hitting the bell button to be updated for future videos, either by liking and sharing the videos. But if you want to support us directly, you can do that by going to our Patreon page at patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a Patreon today. But as always, guys, I'm Mr. Time Leap, and I'll see you guys in the next one.